Hello, everybody, and welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. This is a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. I stumbled there a bit. Anyways, we're doing our series that we've been doing for the month of December. This is Progressive Rock Solo Artist Album Wars. This is battle number 13. Pretty interesting battle. Steve Hackett's Spectral Mornings from 1979 versus Trevor Rabin's Can't Look Away from 1989. So about a 10-year difference there in the sound. Both albums are pretty good, though. I have to say that the Trevor Rabin album surprised me a little bit. I'm not a huge follower of Trevor Rabin. Whenever I think of Trevor Rabin, I think of the 80s, yes, and then I try not to think anymore about it. But generally speaking, I find that he's a much better guitar player than people give him credit for. They just think of him as owner of a Lonely Heart guitar style and that Big Generator album. But he actually played music for a long part of his life, piano as well. So he does have quite a bit of musical talent. And even if you watch him when he plays with Anderson, Rabin, and Wakeman, the ARW, he can do a lot of the same stuff on that Yes. He can play a lot of that Yes stuff pretty good. Like, he's pretty solid. And I'm not a fan of his because I'm a fan of Steve Howe, and I know there's a conflict there. So always been a bit of a difficult thing to overcome. It's a little bit of a mental thing, a little bit of a mental bias, but I gave him his due today, and I think it's a pretty decent album that he has. But we'll talk about Steve Hackett's first because that's the one that was given to me first. So Spectral Mornings, this is an album I've coveted. It's an album. I have a couple of Steve Hackett albums that I like. I know that this one will be another one that I like as well. I like some of the Genesis sounding stuff right at the beginning of the album. The first song, very Genesis sounding. There's a bit of a drum part in the album, during the album as well. It's kind of interesting. And then he has this song that almost it's got a bit of a bluesy flavor to it, but it also has a little bit of a country flavor to it. It's kind of a mix of the two. It's not something you hear too often, but especially I wouldn't expect it from someone like Steve Hackett. But it's pretty good, and most of that album is pretty strong. He's got some acoustic classical bits on there as well that are quite good. He's one of the better ones for doing that kind of stuff. So I did enjoy this album. I don't know if I enjoyed it as much as the first album I have by him, which Voyage of the Acolyte, which I really like a lot. But this one here, not too far behind. I think it's going to be a solid album for him once I get it. I do have another one of his as well, and name eludes me right at the moment. So then we have Trevor Rabin's Can't Look Away, which is he's got quite a few solo albums as well. This one's from 89. This, I think, is actually his fourth solo album from 1989, when he was a young man, yes, like so many of us. And it's quite good. The guitar parts on it are pretty strong. His vocals are not bad. He's a decent vocalist. Him and Chris Squire with John Anderson, very good harmony vocals from the three of them when they were all together in Yes there. So I think he's pretty strong on the vocal part here. I think it's him that's doing all the vocals. It sounds like him. I'm assuming it is. The album is pretty decent. It's a bit poppy. It's a bit poppy, but it does have its moments where it's very proggy as well. Pretty solid album. I think it probably would, if I was giving a rating, I'd probably give it a 3, maybe a little more than a 3, maybe a little over a 3. Not sure how much more over it, but I would give him that. But the Steve Hackett album, I think, is better. It's to be quite honest with you, I think it's more in my wheel well, and that's where sorry, not my wheel well. That's where I put my tire, right? No, my wheelhouse. That's what I meant to say. So it's a little bit more in my wheelhouse. It's more of the type of music that I tend to like and enjoy more. I of course love his acoustic bits. He tends to have a little bit of a Genesis sound to his music, obviously. So I tend to like that more than just about anything hear from a lot of different people. So I think he's going to be the one that wins this battle. But I do have to say that Trevor Rabin was much better than I thought. I received him much better than I thought I was going to receive him. And so now I will look a little bit more at his stuff, give him a little bit more of a chance. And next time, maybe I won't have such a bias, Anyways, so Steve Hackett's Spectral Mornings will move on to the next round, and Trevor Rabin's Can't Look Away. Is that what it is? Yeah, Can't Look Away. Will go on out of the tournament for now, but definitely an album that I will listen to again. I'm sure of it. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Progressive Rock Solo Artist Album Wars. If you did, please hit the like button and the subscription button. It's much appreciated. Any comments about either of the albums or how you're perceiving this battles thing going on, let me know in the comment section below, and I generally answer everything as long as it's a question and it's a reasonable question. If it's an insult, I get enough of that at work. I don't need to get it here too. So anyways, I hope you've had a good day. If you did, that's great, and we will see you again next battle tomorrow for battle number 14 on Progressive Rock Solo Artist Album Wars. So take care. Bye.